Hello everyone, I am Anthropomantic Fiend, and usually I do horror-related things on the internet. It is Halloween season after all, but I need to give you the list of my favorite songs, mostly new discoveries, that I listened to in September 2020. I've done this for June and July and August now. This is the September video. If you want to get a briefing on basically what I do in these videos, go watch those first. Basically, I'm gonna give you a playlist of songs that I like in the description of this video. There will be a YouTube playlist, a Spotify playlist, as well as just a giant Spotify playlist of all of my favorite stuff to listen to. I'm gonna try to make this as concise as possible, so without further ado, here are my favorite songs of September of 2020. So the first of these is Target Practice by Fateful Cry. I've brought up Fateful Cry before. They have an album coming out this month featuring Here Comes Trouble, which I've covered already. This song is atypical for them because Zach is not on lead vocals. It is Joe who takes the lead on this, who is usually just doing backing vocals and violin stuff, but she gets the lead on this song. My sort of interpretation of the lyrics on this is that she's going to be some sort of a renegade hero fighting the evil vampire archvillain in this concept album that they're doing, because it is a concept album about vampires living in the seedy underground of, I think, the 1920s, and that is definitely reflected in the music here because it is very sort of jazzy, almost cabaret-ish, with a lot of their sort of typical rock and almost Tim Burton-esque theatrical elements thrown in, and it is just really awesome and very catchy. Next up is one that wasn't exactly a new discovery, but more of a rediscovery, because I haven't listened to it or thought about it in a long time, and that is Halloween by Siouxsie and the Banshees. And the reason I rediscovered this is because of Girly Gore's Horror Movie Club. We did animated creepy movies last month, and the first of those was Monster House. I was overjoyed when I heard Siouxsie Sue's voice at the end of the movie because I wasn't expecting it, but it was nice to rediscover this song, and it is a perfect one for this month. It's just very angular but still really fun, upbeat, post-punk stuff with lyrics about Halloween. As she says in the lyrics, the bitter and the sweet. It has this sort of mixture of darkness and this sort of angular harsh sound with playfulness and melody. Next up is Hall of the Mountain King by RITCHIE Blackmore's Rainbow. This is a take on Edvard Grieg's In the Hall of the Mountain King, a very famous classical piece. If you haven't heard it, you actually have heard it, you just don't know that it's called that. I guarantee you. Rainbow took that classic melody and incorporated it into their sort of classic rainbow rock metal-ish format with some fun fantasy lyrics. And it's just cool to hear a really familiar classical piece translated into that format with RITCHIE Blackmore doing some shredding over top. I don't know if shredding is the right word, but doing some awesome guitar soloing. Following that, we have another sort of cover, which is System of a Down doing Snowblind by Black Sabbath. This is such a weird and different take on the song, but I really like it. The only thing it doesn't really have is Tony Iommi's amazing guitar solo, but it takes all of the awesome riffage and melody and lyrics from the original song and adds this weird, distinctive System of a Down groove to everything, and it's just really fun. Following that, we have another cover, Sleeping Sun as done by Crewish. Now, Crewish is an interesting one because they are Nightwish's road crew, but since Nightwish can't tour right now, they have to do something to support themselves, so they've put out an album called Unemployed Blacksmiths, in which they cover a bunch of Nightwish songs in their own weird, distinctive style, and this is no exception. This one is a take on a very serene ballad about, I believe, the midnight sun in Finland. I might be wrong about that, but they have days in Finland where there is literally no daylight and it's completely dark, and that is what Sleeping Sun is about, and it's very serene and peaceful and a little bit melancholy and longing, and I love it. But this takes that and basically turns it into a Rammstein song. It is very crunchy and full of aggressive angular sounding vocals and big crunchy guitar, and it sounds like a Rammstein song, and it's really fun. After that, we have another one that was more of a rediscovery, which is Our Solemn Hour by Within Temptation. Not too long ago, the Soulless Trenchcoat did a music video on his channel, which was setting a bunch of clips of villain characters from all kinds of media, TV shows, movies, everything, to Our Solemn Hour by Within Temptation, and it was really epic, and it reminded me why I love Within Temptation so much, and I had the song stuck in my head for a while after that. And if you don't know, Within Temptation are another symphonic metal band, which is one of my favorite subgenres of music, period. If you enjoy symphonic metal as well, I definitely think you will like this song. The next song on here is He's There and Then He Does That by Toehider. I knew of Toehider because of their lead singer Michael Mills working with Arion, who I will get to in a little bit. I hadn't heard this song before, and I discovered it because of the YouTube channel Tari Reacts. I've discovered some of my past songs, including the Illumishade one last time, because of her. She just does really great reactions to a lot of things in the vein of symphonic metal, power metal, progressive metal. I've been following her channel since the beginning. It's really good. I will probably link it below. I discovered this song because of her, and it has a really weird time signature, but this really beautiful guitar melody, and it's really fun and playful, but also very melancholy. Michael Mills just has an amazing voice as well. Just a very rich, open sound, but he can also hit these insane power metal high notes, which he does, and it's awesome, and he's an amazing guitarist. Following this, we have Dragula, as covered by Lindsay, and I will have to shout out the Super Slash Brothers, and particularly Bronco Juggalo Talks Movies. Brad was watching Haunt during the stream, and he was like, I didn't realize this, but there's a pretty acoustic cover of Dragula in the credits of this movie. And I was like, wait, what? I have to hear this right now. So I looked it up, and it kind of gave me chills to hear a song that is meant to be such a sort of horror metal party anthem type thing, stripped back and made into something so melancholy sounding. And it is one of my favorite songs anyway, so I thought it was a really unique idea that you wouldn't typically think of, especially with Rob Zombie songs, but it was really well done and really, really beautiful, and I need to watch Haunt now, so definitely recommend looking into this cover. Next up on here is When It's Time by Ultimolin Road, and this is a brand new project by Joanna Kurkela of Auri, also the wife of Tuomas Holopainen of Auri and Nightwish, main composer for both of those groups. And she just has a really beautiful, almost ethereal sounding voice. This song just has a really distinct melody, and it's just really, really beautiful. I don't really have much else to say about it. It's just really good. I forget the name of the other singer, but I will put it down here somewhere. And next up we have Archangel by Amaranth. This is off the Manifest album, which I have now because it's out this month, but I haven't listened to it all the way through yet. I've talked about Amaranth in my last two installments of this series. They're a really great electronic pop meets power metal meets melodic death metal band. They're just very catchy, and they make me really, really happy, and Archangel takes this more gothic approach to their sound and their lyrics. It's about the fall of Lucifer, I think their guitarist said. The video is very, very gothic. They shot it in an old ruined castle, and there are elements of like bits of Gregorian chanting and haunting classical melodies thrown into their typical just electro metal thing, and it's really, really well done. It's also just another really upbeat, awesome song from Amaranth. Next up is Talk of the Town by Arion. I mentioned Arion earlier when I was talking about Toehider. Arion is the project of Arjen Anthony Lucassen. It is his sort of crazy prog metal machine. He gets a bunch of different musicians and a bunch of really well-known singers from the genres of prog and symphonic metal and power metal and a bunch of other things to be in his projects. With this song, he got Tommy Karavik from Camelot. He got Cami Gilbert of Oceans of Slumber, who are fantastic as well. He got Patty Gurdy, who is a well-known hurdy-gurdy player. She is phenomenal. I'm trying to remember who else was on this track, but it's a really, really good song. It is part of his most recent concept album, Transitus, which is kind of what he does. He likes doing crazy concept albums, usually in the vein of sci-fi or fantasy. Speaking of which, there is narration by Tom Baker, best known as the Fourth Doctor from Doctor Who, on all of these tracks, which I think a lot of you will appreciate as well. This song is about two brothers who are part of this elite family, and one of them falls in love with one of the servants there. Tommy Karavik voices the brother who falls in love with the servant. The servant's part is sung by Cami Gilbert. The song is essentially the brother saying, we're not supposed to mix with the staff. You're going to bring down the name of our house. Everyone in town is talking about you, and she's just a gold digger. Once she's got her money, she's just gonna leave. It is just a song about the conflict between all of them, and it's just great music-wise and great storytelling. After this, we have Worlds Away by Lindsay Schoolcraft. I've talked quite a bit about Lindsay Schoolcraft here before. This month, she's putting out the album Worlds Away, which is harp covers of a lot of her past songs as well as some new ones. This is one of the new ones, which was released as a single last month, and it is a really beautiful, haunting, almost fairy tale-like harp piece that really evokes sort of this bittersweet feeling, because the song is about being apart from people you care about for so long, which I think is very relatable right now. And finally, we have Manipulator by The Damned. The Damned are one of the classic punk bands of the 70s that sort of started to experiment with more psychedelic and gothic sounds as they went on without ever really losing sight of their punk roots. I'm a big fan of them. I heard this one because they've been doing this little thing called The Damned Show during quarantine, where all of the members, except Dave Vanian so far, unfortunately, have been talking about, you know, their music and what they do, and they've done some playthroughs, and a couple of them have done that for the song Manipulator, which I hadn't heard before. It's a more recent Damned track, and I just fell in love with it, so I'm putting it on this playlist. Once again, links to all the playlists will be below. Thank you for watching my video, and hopefully I will see you in another one. Bye!